I am present.
Mr. Chair, we are now live.
Thank you so very much. Good afternoon, everyone. This is a continuation of the Committee of the Whole's public hearing on the budget. Mr. McDermott, will you please read the bills and resolutions that we are considering?
This is a continued public hearing of the Committee of the Whole regarding bills numbers 230144, 230145, 230146, 230147, 230148, 230149, and resolution number 162. We are here today to hear from you about the city's proposed operating and capital budgets and proposed tax revenue measures. Due to the COVID-19 emergency, we have implemented special procedures with respects to public comment, which were advertised, posted on council's website, and sent out in a press release. Speakers interested in giving testimony were asked to call or email us by 3 p.m. yesterday so that we could take the technical steps necessary to provide an opportunity for public comment in a virtual environment. We also encourage the public who asked to testify to submit written testimony to budget.hearings@phila.gov to ensure that their voice is part of the permanent public record. Any testimony submitted that way will be added to the public record for this hearing. To ensure that there's an opportunity for all of you to be heard, certain ground rules have been established. Your testimony should be about the city's proposed operating, capital budgets, and revenue measures. Once your name is called, you will have 3 minutes to speak. In order to be fair to all those wishing to speak, I intend to hold faithfully to the 3-minute limit. Once you are asked to begin your testimony, a timer will be started. When there are 30 seconds remaining in your time, you will be reminded of this. Once your allotted time has passed, you will be asked to conclude your remarks.
Thank you, Mr. McDermott. And we have members of council who are here who, at any point in time, if they want to chime in on a comment, feel free. But with that, can you please announce the first witness to testify, Mr. McDermott?
Our first witness to testify today is Dante Privet.
Mr. Privet, are you connected? Mr. Privet, are you connected and not on mute? We're going to allow, I think I heard someone.
That was me. I was just going to say that I'll call any names if council support lets us know that they have been connected, just in case they couldn't connect at the present time. The next name on our list is Brian Jeans.
Mr. Jeans, good afternoon. Are you connected?
Hello there. This is Mr. Jeans, and I am present. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please proceed with your testimony.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Brian Jeans, and I am a psychologist based here in South Philadelphia, close to FDR Park. My research focuses on the effects of chronic stress and reactivity on learning in development. And today in this testimony, I'd like to address the proposed $100 million sports complex to be built in the part of FDR Park that we know as the Meadows. Excuse me. I fell in love with this open, untamed green space during the pandemic. And like thousands of others here in the city, immediately felt its potential to help us all just hit the pause button, lower our stress levels, and generally just become nicer, more considerate, compassionate people, which seems to be an increasingly scarce occurrence here in this city of Philadelphia. And to be honest, I'm not exaggerating when I state that my marriage at that time would not have survived the pandemic without this calming oasis that we could visit here in South Philadelphia. Now, there's a growing body of research indicating that regular exposure to undeveloped green spaces like the Meadows can improve our physical, mental, and emotional health, particularly for kids exposed to chronic stress. And I want to encourage City Council members here to consider the Meadows as a vital public health resource that can help provide our city's youth a safe, secure space to heal the effects of stress and trauma and build strong, lasting relationships. Now, in closing, the current plan for the Meadows at FDR Park was developed in 2018 when it was still a golf course before the pandemic. So my request here is that we just regroup and truly evaluate what a precious resource we have that can really help us all downregulate and be present for one another in such challenging times, and to do so without destroying a resource and really taking it off the map entirely. So with that, I will submit the remainder of my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. McDermott.
Our next witness is Anissa George.
Ms. George, are you with us and connected? Ms. George.
Anissa is
Who's
not
the next?
connected.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Our next witness to testify is Queen Judith Robinson.
Queen, are you connected? Queen Judith Robinson, are you connected?
Ms. Robinson is not connected.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next witness is Rich Garella.
Mr. Garello, are you connected?
Yes, I believe I'm connected.
Thank you, and I can hear you. Please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Good afternoon. My name is Rich Garella, and I live in South Philly. I'd like to address the proposed $100 million sports complex that the Parks Department, or really the Fairmount Park Conservancy, plans to build on the part of FDR Park known as the Meadows. The plan was developed in 2018, back when it was still a golf course, before so many people discovered the Meadows, especially during the pandemic. So much has changed and so much has been learned since then about this area, but parks won't listen to the public and won't consider any changes to the plan. My question is why? Parks and the Conservancy say that the Meadows can't be saved from rising waters, but they won't reveal the environmental and hydrological studies that supposedly prove that. Why? The Parks Department recognizes with its Philly tree plan that in this time of global warming, we desperately need to increase tree canopy. But this plan would clear-cut acres of trees to build a giant heat island, since artificial turf can heat up to 150 degrees. Why? Artificial turf also contains carcinogens, including PFAS and other toxic chemicals. This was all in the Inquirer recently. Even if fake grass were cheaper than real grass, which it isn't, Parks is insisting our kids play on a surface that endangers their health, which shouldn't even be an option. Why? Finally, yes, there is a shortage of good playing fields, but Parks ignores the many fields that sit neglected right in our own neighborhoods. It won't say how many it has. It won't say what it would cost to improve and maintain these fields. And it ignores hundreds of acres of parking lots and other city properties where fields could be built. Why? Instead of responding to these concerns, Parks hides behind the Conservancy, which is a private organization that's accountable to its board, not to the public, and that stands to take in millions from managing this project. So, on behalf of the thousands of Philadelphians who've signed the Save the Meadows petition, I ask you, our council members, to demand answers to these questions before irreversible damage is done. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. McDermott, who is next to testify?
I've been told that Dante Privet is now connected.
Mr. Privet? Mr. Privet? Mr. Privet? Can we proceed to the next person to testify until we can deal with the technical issues?
Yes, sir. Our next witness is Kimmy Cook.
Mr. Cook, are you connected?
And that was Kimmy Cook.
Oh, Kimmy Cook. Miss Cook, are you connected?
Yes,
Thank
can
you.
you hear me okay?
How are you? Yes, I can hear you.
I'm good.
State your name for the record. I am outstanding. State your name for the record.
Kimmy Cook?
and you can begin your testimony.
Hi there. My name is Kimmy Cook, and I am a Philadelphia resident and a former city employee with the Department of Parks and Recreation. I worked as a part-time seasonal worker for 5 years. I have seen firsthand the effects of divestment from public services such as parks, recreation centers, and libraries. Unsafe building conditions, unexpected closures due to staffing shortages, and a lack of accessible programming leave our communities without the vital services we need to survive and thrive. If we want to get serious about equity, we need to pass a true moral budget, one that provides fully funded public services. The funding exists. It is just being hoarded by the wealthiest Philadelphians who dodge paying taxes that should be going towards these vital city services. Once again, the Chamber of Commerce is pushing a tax break for big businesses to the tune of $28 million in lost revenue. We say no to these tax giveaways. The decades-long push to cut revenue from the business income and receipts tax is a holdover from trickle-down economics in the 1980s. It's a failed strategy that time and time again we see results in a giveaway to big business and does not actually support working Philadelphians. We need to be extremely clear who benefits from tax giveaways, including BERT and the wage tax. It is Comcast, Aramark, and other mega corporations. Tax cuts lead to revenue cuts, which lead to service cuts. What Philadelphians deserve is the highest quality city services that keep us safe, that put us to work, and that provide great parks, schools, libraries, and rec centers. While I loved my job, as a part-time worker with no benefits and lack of year-round pay, my job with the city was not sustainable for me to stay at long-term. Fully funded public services includes fully staffing these services by providing good, secure, full-time jobs to those working on the front lines within their communities. Underfunding is a choice. We can fully fund our rec centers, such as the one I worked at, as well as our libraries and all our public spaces. One way to do this is to pass the Philadelphia Wealth Tax. This groundbreaking legislation would help make our tax system more progressive, close the racial wealth gap, and support working Philadelphians. Now is the time to pass a city budget that not only addresses the basic needs of our communities, but also provides us the resources to thrive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Mr. McDermott, who is next to testify?
Our next witness is Anissa George.
Ms. George, are you connected?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Yes, I can. Please state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Yeah, my name is Anissa George. I live in South Philly, and I, like others, are here to speak about the Meadows. This is a space that I first discovered, like thousands of others, during the pandemic. I'm here because I cannot explain to my daughter, why her favorite place, the only wild space in South Philly we can get to without a car, the only place where she can run for miles without me yelling, stop at the corner, that this majestic place has been destroyed because the airport needs more cargo space. I'm here because in her sanctuary, where she used to swing her hammock in a grove of grandfather pines, there is now an uninterrupted view of I-95 and a dust bowl that would frankly make Franklin D. Roosevelt furious. Also, the airport's expansion is going to accelerate flooding in Eastwick and compromise people's lives. And then, to add insult to injury, Parks and Rec is billing their clear cutting as, quote, wetland restoration. In what world does environmental restoration begin with the clear cutting of 55 acres of mature trees? Where are the studies to prove this was necessary? In my eyes, this department has lost their credibility. What they are doing is in no way restorative, it's ecocide. Let's call it as it is. Do not let them continue, because in the next phase of their plan, 42 additional acres will be covered in synthetic turf. And this fake turf was recently banned in Boston last year because it's linked to a host of diseases. It also has a limited lifespan. It can't be recycled anywhere in the U.S. So ironically, an allegedly green-forward city that has just banned plastic bags, we're going to wrap a thriving meadow in plastic turf that will leach forever chemicals into our waterways and give our kids cancer. And it's going to cost $100 million. You know what will cost $0 but be a priceless legacy to countless generations to come? The Meadows. Let them be left. Let them be left. Amend the plan. Leave them. There is nothing in South Philadelphia as precious as this space. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Thank you. Mr. McDermott, who is next to testify?
The next person to testify is Jennifer Rodriguez.
Ms. Rodriguez, are you connected?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Yes, I can. Good afternoon, and please
Good
state your
afternoon.
name for the record and begin your testimony.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Rodriguez, President and CEO of the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. At GPHCC, we firmly believe that entrepreneurship is one of the keys to solving the inequity that encumbers the growth and development of poor and underrepresented communities, and should be a priority of city government as it forms the new city budget. Research shows that families who own a business have higher median net worth than families who do not. And Hispanic families who own a business have 4 times the net worth of Hispanic families that do not. Entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economy, and across the country, the majority of new jobs are created by small businesses. But here in Philadelphia, entrepreneurship is on life support. We rank at the bottom of comparable cities for many key indicators of business climate, whether it is cost of doing business, ease of doing business, or business creation. It is more expensive to do business here than in Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Washington, D.C. Nevertheless, according to Pew's Economic Recovery Dashboard, small businesses in Philadelphia are creating new jobs at a higher rate than the large or mid-sized companies in the wake of the pandemic. Philadelphia has a proud heritage of innovation, entrepreneurship, and industry, which earned it the moniker of the workshop of the world because of the critical role it played during the Industrial Revolution. Today, the city is no longer perceived as a hub of innovation and industry, and entrepreneurs have many location options. Unfortunately, they're increasingly deciding against Philadelphia due to the highly regulated, costly, and bureaucratic environment. In fact, a recent survey by the Diverse Chambers Coalition of Philadelphia indicates that small business owners would not recommend the city as a place in which to do business, earning the city a score of -50 on a scale of -100 to +100. In assigning the score, respondents frequently mentioned high costs, red tape, and crime as the primary detractors. Lowering the BERT and wage tax once is not sufficient to spur long-term economic growth. For businesses to make long-term significant investments that will bring about sustained job growth, we need a more competitive cost structure. Consistently, our surveys indicate that the BERT tax is the most burdensome tax, followed by the wage tax. Continuing to lower these taxes will help and are important steps in creating a city that can regain its status as a place that supports and welcomes entrepreneurs. At GPHCC, we're committed to supporting Latino-owned businesses, and as business community leaders and residents of the city, we must plan for a safe, equitable, and robust economic recovery. Thank you for holding today's hearing, and we at the Hispanic Chamber are ready to work with you to build a stronger and safer Philadelphia for all. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your testimony.
The next witness to testify is Regina Hairston.
Member Jones.
Ms. Hairston, are you connected?
Good afternoon.
Good
Yes.
afternoon. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
Outstanding. Can you state your name for the record and begin your testimony, please?
Regina Hairston. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
Councilmember Jones and other members of the Philadelphia City Council. Again, my name is Regina A. Hairston, President and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce for Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Today, I would like to speak about Black business growth and why investment in Black businesses is crucial through tax revenue measures. As the second largest city for a majority diverse population, including 42% African American, we should be leading the nation in Black-owned business density. Yet we have the lowest Black-owned businesses per capita rate of any U.S. city at 1.8 Black-owned businesses per every 1,000 residents. Philadelphia still has the highest in the nation wage tax and is the only major city in the country that double taxes businesses with the business income and receipts tax. 80% of respondents to a joint survey performed by Philadelphia's diverse chambers of commerce indicated that reducing taxes on businesses is the primary action the city could enact to help them grow, stay, and hire here. Decades of inequality and economic barriers have resulted in relative stagnation for the Black business community and Black community. According to a recent Economy League report, Black wages increased a mere 6% or $2,000, accounting for inflation, since 2010, compared to almost 25% for everyone else. Conditions like these make it difficult not only for Black workers, but the Black business community as well, and is a stark reminder of how far our city has to go. Last year, you took the first step to ease the burden on our businesses, and we thank you. We also accomplished changing our mindsets in regard to what we can do, both as a city and as a business community. It was the first step to a long journey of making quantifiable and calculated changes to further the economic opportunities available to the African American community as a whole, and it's imperative that we continue that progress consistently as we plan for Philadelphia's future. As we continue to collaborate and work together to build an inclusive business community, we should remain focused and reinforce intentional and targeted investments to build Black and brown businesses and neighborhoods across the city. Further reduction should be considered as one example of such investments that the city can directly make into the Black business community. A 1% annual investment makes Philadelphia economically competitive in 10 years rather than 20 years. So I come before you today to encourage you to invest in us, invest in our local business community, and do so in a truly meaningful and lasting way. Help us build capacity to grow, scalability, and reach. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison, for your testimony. And we appreciate what you do. Mr. McDermott.
Thank you.
Who is next?
Next person to testify is Zach Wilco.
Mr. Wilco, are you connected?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me all right, Councilmember Jones?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes,
then
I can.
I will begin. Great.
State your
Good
name
afternoon,
for the record.
Council members. Sure thing. I'm Zach Wilka, and I'm CEO of the Independence Business Alliance. Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me today to testify on behalf of our Greater Philadelphia's LGBTQ+ Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today speaking on behalf of our LGBTQ+ business community, which is comprised of all races and ethnic backgrounds, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and varied in industry. In 2021, we came together with our local African American, Asian American, and Hispanic American chambers to develop and launch the Diverse Chambers Coalition of Philadelphia. With the goal of economic uplift for and within diverse business communities, we speak with a unified voice on issues where we unanimously align. Together with the Greater Chambers Inclusive Growth Coalition, our aim is to do good things for businesses and the best thing for our people, which we believe are not mutually exclusive. Somewhere along the way, it became a popular notion that helping businesses does not help our communities, but in Philadelphia, that could not be further from the truth. For example, one of the goals of our partnership is to regularly conduct surveys to convey the experiences and challenges of our business constituents, who comprise the backbone of our local economy. For our businesses, their main concerns can be distilled to 4 C's, namely cost of doing business, clarity of doing business, lack of cleanliness, and crime, being personally affected by it. As for the cost of doing business in our city, the main thrust of complaints is around the business-killing BERT tax, which our businesses overwhelmingly identify as their most onerous expense. The double taxes, which do not occur in similarly situated cities to Philadelphia, are grinding away at businesses at a historical moment when resources are thinner than ever. More dangerous for our city's future is the fact that these taxes simply do not exist in neighboring cities and make the prospect of moving one business out of the city quite alluring. Overwhelmingly, we heard routinely positive feedback from our constituents last year that reduction in taxes, particularly BERT, were essential for the survival of their businesses, and how we cannot stop now. We must be aggressive with our plans over the next years to make sure we prioritize keeping our businesses alive and thriving. We urge you to vote yes to wage and BERT tax reductions, and want to thank council members who started those reductions last year, standing by the small business owners and hardworking citizens of the city. It is the primary action that the city can take right now to help grow businesses and create jobs. Crime and lack of cleanliness go hand in hand as barriers to the smooth operation of business as well. More than half our respondents reported being personally affected by crime, and many have had to reduce hours of operation and hire expensive security to keep themselves and their families safe. Crime is now the main concern of our businesses, with more than half of them reporting this. Many also find that the labor market simply is not there to hire, balanced with the risk of crime. Lack of cleanliness also presents a hurdle to quality of life. We need to remember that our whole city has to be prioritized, as everyone's workday begins at their stoop, not just when they arrive or if they arrive in Center City. We believe in the city of Philadelphia. Our LGBTQ plus community and businesses know that it's a world-class city and they want to stay here and be successful. They deserve investment as part of the values that our latest budget will represent. The key to this is real investment in private sector job growth. We look forward to working with you to forge solutions for the success of the city we all love to call home. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for your time. Is Kainzal? If Kainzal is not available, our next witness is Will Carter.
This is Will Carter. Can you hear me?
How you doing, Mr. Carter? Yes.
All right.
Mr. Carter?
Thank you. And can you hear me?
Yes, we can. State your name and begin your testimony.
Will do. Good afternoon, Majority Leader Jones and members of the Committee of the Whole. I am William Carter, Vice President of Local Government Affairs for the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Philadelphia, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to testify on the budget today. The Chamber of Commerce, working with the Inclusive Growth Coalition, which includes people I'm honored to be on this call with and honored to work with every day, from the African American Chamber of Commerce, Regina Harrison, the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, Kainzal, the Hispanic American Chamber of Commerce, Jennifer Rodriguez, and the Independence Business Alliance, or LGBTQ Chamber, Zach Wilker. Just honored to be on the call and work with them every day. We've been rightfully focused on inclusive growth for businesses and residents citywide. Our city's challenges are well documented. Poverty, education shortfalls, blight, gun violence, and global economic forces that are making it harder for people to make ends meet. These are all complex issues with proposed solutions from across the ideological spectrum. However, everyone from heads of households to heads of companies agrees that increasing the number of people making a good living, whether they work for themselves or others, helps with all of these issues. But we actually have to do certain things to achieve it. To achieve this, we need to, 1, have more genuine opportunities here in the city, and 2, more residents able to take advantage of such opportunities. This has to be a priority because over the past 5 decades, report after report and study after study shows Philadelphia has double-digit declining job numbers, and Philadelphia has one of the lowest levels of business density, meaning employers, amongst comparable cities nationwide. The evidence is in the data. Philadelphia has the highest poverty rate of any large city. Philadelphia has the second highest unemployment rate among comparison cities, behind only Detroit. Roughly 60,000 residents leave the city annually, with job opportunities and lower costs of doing business leading the reasons for departing. Whether the move stems from an inability to find the right position in Philadelphia or the availability of options elsewhere. This is verifiable information from the Pew Charitable Trust and other think tanks. Schools and crime also were listed as reasons, but job opportunities was number 1. A major reason for this phenomenon is that Philadelphia has fewer private employers of all demographics than comparable locales, and thus less genuine opportunities for job seekers. We are actually behind Baltimore, New Orleans, and Jacksonville, Florida in this regard. 35% of our working residents in each council district commute to jobs to the suburbs where many of the good paying jobs exist. So how do we change this? The fastest way Philadelphia can grow jobs is by investing in private sector business growth. We are currently chasing industry away with the city's highest in the nation wage tax and the double tax from the BERT. Currently, way too many employers of all sizes choose to locate just beyond the city limits, places like Conshohocken and Cheltenham, to avoid these taxes. I was out in KOP last week and not spending money in Philadelphia where I'd love to spend money, but a lot of industry is out there and we'd like to be able to attract them here. So I heard the bill. I want to get to, we appreciate the mayor and including wage and BERT tax reductions. However, at this modest rate reduction, it will take 20 years for our business to achieve a level playing field with regional and national competitors. We must and can achieve this faster. Facts show that this can happen in 10 years with just a 1% investment of general fund dollars towards lowering the wage and BERT. And even better, just like last year, it does not have to be an either or. The city is achieving better than expected revenue collection and experience better than expected projected growth. This is a critical juncture for Philadelphia. We can move away from the status quo of non-investment in jobs and local business success. This is how we achieve a major component of the growth, meaning more local jobs, more local business-to-business contracting, more employers that tend to pay higher wages, more city tax revenue to provide for healthcare, education, social protection, safety, and basic public services, and less violence, less crime, less poverty, and less blight. By investing in our economic engines and the hardworking people, our city can substantially improve its economic standing with initiatives and policies that will grow all businesses and jobs citywide. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, for your testimony. Mr. McDermott, can you call the next witness to testify?
Our next witness is Kine Zaw. If Kine Zaw is not available, our next witness is Melissa Santos. Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Mr. McDermott, continue to call people, please. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm properly connected.
Yes, we can hear you. State your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Council. My name is Kine Zaw Author. I am the President and CEO of Asian American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Philadelphia. Today, I joined the Inclusive Growth Coalition with the main purpose of supporting the reduction of wage and BERT tax. As you have heard clearly from our counterparts, for the small Black, Brown, and Asian diverse businesses we represent, BERT tax is a major burden. And we recently interviewed more than 24 Asian-owned businesses in University City, Oregon Avenue, Chinatown, and Washington Avenue. Every single one of them that participated in our interview indicated that reducing the BERT tax and wage tax would be highly positive for their businesses. And Council, I'd like to highlight that Asian American population is the fastest growing immigrant group in Philadelphia. Before COVID, we have about 7.8% of 1.6 million Philadelphia population. But because of the crime and other inflation-related difficulties, this population is looking to move away from Philadelphia. And we don't want that to happen, because most of them, they love the city, they want to work in the city, and they want to grow with the city. In 2019 alone, Asian American households paid more than $67.9 billion in federal income taxes. And our population contributed to $1.5 trillion in U.S. GDP growth. And because of pandemic and surging inflation, the revenue in Philadelphia's Chinatown alone fell 40%. And this reduction of wage and BERT tax will incentivize these businesses to stay and work in Philadelphia. I cannot stress enough how crucial it is to invest in our businesses for our city at this very moment. Philadelphia has the highest poverty rate because we have the slowest job growth and the lowest density of businesses and the least opportunity compared to our peer cities and our suburbs. And yet, our Asian American population love the city. They could be anywhere else, but they keep choosing to stay here. And regardless of the language and cultural differences and difficulties, these residences are making investments. So council members, our community members believe that being a part of the workforce and entrepreneurship is rewarding. It creates stability and opportunities that empower our future generation. When people have jobs that they love They have higher degree of integrity that lead to keeping the neighborhoods cleaner, safer, and more prosperous. So for our business owners in Philadelphia that have invested so much into their businesses because they love what they do, this tax reduction will give them a message, a clear message that Philadelphia welcomes them. And Philadelphia is a truly welcoming city for immigrant communities that want to grow and that want to thrive with the rest of the diverse population. I thank you in advance for your vote on the reduction of wage and birth tax. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next witness is Melissa Santos.
Good afternoon, this is Melissa Santos.
Hi, Melissa. We can hear you. If you could state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Sure. My name is Melissa Santos. I am president of Eagle Staffing Company. Good afternoon, Council. As a lifelong resident of Philadelphia and on behalf of myself and my employees, I urge you to vote yes to wage and birth tax reductions today, and want to thank all those council members who voted for reductions last year and are standing by the small business owners and hardworking citizens of the city. However, we need to do more. As a business owner, I work hard with a goal of growing, and when my business grows, we hire, creating income for others. We hire because we need help, and the more we grow, the more help we need. So it just makes sense to invest in this kind of growth. With inflation surging, staples of everyday life are getting more expensive, and we're asking that you give an immediate raise to our workers and increase the ability for my business to recover, grow, and hire. Everyone who works for themselves or for others pays taxes, and cutting Philadelphia's too high wage and business taxes would give an immediate boost to my workers and the ability for me to invest more in my business. Philadelphia is the only major city that double taxes its businesses through a business income tax and a business receipts tax. And Philadelphia has the nation's highest wage tax. These taxes have been the greatest barrier for my business to grow in the city. Reducing taxes on businesses is the primary action the city could enact to help us grow. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next witness is Marina Stamos. If Ms. Stamos is not available, our next witness is Samali Osteen.
Hello? Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you could state your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Sure. Good afternoon, Councilman Jones and council members. My name is Somali Osteen, Director of Program and Operation at the Asian Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for allowing me to testify today on behalf of Asian businesses, which is 11% of Philadelphia small businesses in Philadelphia. We all can agree that small business in Philadelphia face so many challenges, which include safety, and Asian hate crime increased by 400% in our city following the pandemic. And many businesses now are still trying to recover and survive from the pandemic. On top of all of this, the higher birth taxes have been burdensome for businesses to survive and grow. So lowering tax will not only encourage existing businesses to stay open and grow, but also attract new businesses to open in our city and fill all this vacant storefront at the commercial neighborhood home. So, council member, I'm pleased to ask you to vote yes to this bill, and please help keep our business door open first before they can pay taxes. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Our next witness is Bon Hang. Is Bon Hang connected? Okay, our next witness is Vicky Hasu. Okay, if Vicki is not available, our next witness is Zakiah Hamilton.
Hello, how's everyone? I'm here. I'm sorry I heard you guys on mute as well.
Oh, gotcha.
Good
Thank you very
afternoon,
much.
City Council. Good afternoon. How's everyone today?
Doing well. If you could state
hi.
your name for the record and begin your testimony.
Okay. Good day. My name is Zakiah Hamilton, and I am deciding to speak today because I have multiple businesses in the city of Philadelphia. I am a small business owner. I've been born and raised in Philadelphia all of my life, raised my children in Philadelphia all of my life. However, as a mother, I have always been frustrated about the school system and the communities that we live in for people like me that want a better education for their child but have to outsource education. It's very frustrating. It's very time consuming. It is not fair to me because and all the other parents that have to pay school tax but cannot send their child to the neighborhood school due to safety issues, due to lack of Title I funds, due to teachers basically feeling as if it's all the children are the same. If we're teaching in this kind of community, then all the students lack love or food, or all the students are abused, and that needs to be addressed. You know, I heard a lot today as far as what City Council is trying to propose when it comes to the taxpayers' finances and money. And I'm a little confused on how entertainment trumps education. I'm a little confused on how entertainment trumps safety. I'm a little confused on how entertainment trumps small businesses. Because I am a minority business owner, a woman of color, bringing a new stadium instead of investing in the Philadelphia schools, revamping them, renewing them, restoring them for parents like me, who is well educated, and as I said before, a Philadelphia native and homeowner investor, real estate in the city, small business owner, who is passionate, committed to rebuilding communities. However, the politicians in city council acting as my liaison and everyone else's liaisons on this call are very disappointing. Our city council and our communities do not support the local taxpayers and the local people in the community. You know, I go around to some of the areas in the city. Sometimes the recycle trucks don't even come to some communities. Do you guys know that? You have all of this influx of new residents in the city, and then you have extra trash, you have extra recycle, and the trash companies, the trash trucks, take the recycle because recycles don't come to some zip codes. That is so disappointing as a native in Philadelphia. I'm also concerned about the land bank and how hard the land bank makes it for small business owners, homeowners that have empty lots next to their homes, and they won't get it for them to uplift the community and the block. The land bank rather, because of their own financial gain, give it to investors that will definitely make the community more dangerous, because they, as I've seen for my own two eyes, what the investors do, that they build, they leave trash, they leave sheetrock, they leave metal, they leave wood, anything you can name, these investors leave, and it's a safety hazard, and it's also toxic to the neighborhood and the community. And because we don't have a voice in our communities, and we've been here for so long, but it's like we're almost invisible, nothing happens. I go to city councils in the communities all the time. It takes me so long to get anything done, to get something as small as trash picked up constantly, because you have so many empty lots in the community that the city owns, and then the city puts it on Carousel puts it on PHDC, and it's a back and forth shift of blame. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to do my due diligence, take the initiative, even though it's PHDC who owns this land, I'm going to go ahead and get this trash up, because it's an eyesore. It's unsafe to the community. It's children all in the community playing in the trash. It could be rats in there. It could be raccoons in here. We have a raccoon problem in the city. But then we're talking about a stadium. That's a problem. And anyone on this call that's in city council who has children, grandchildren, who lives in the city, you know, you should really reevaluate what's happening. And if you have a voice, because you are city council, your voice needs to be heard on what's fair to the community, because the people is what keeps you in office. You can't override the people. They're going to overturn you eventually. You can't continue to do what you want to do to the people in these communities and the business owners and don't think that we're not going to wind up standing up eventually. Because we are getting tired of not being invested in. These children, this violence, they're not being invested in. And that's where the violence is coming from. The lack of education. From the parents to the schools. I think my 3 minutes are up. Thank you guys for hearing.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next witness is Bon Heng.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. State your name for the record and begin your testimony. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, Councilman. My name is Bon Heng. I'm a small business owner, Century Home Care. I urge the councilman to vote yesterday for the wage and bird tax. I love Philadelphia. Philadelphia has given me everything that I have. I grew up from a kid to a man living in Philadelphia. Now I have a small business in Philadelphia, and it's helping the community and creating a lot of jobs. Doing business in Philadelphia is harder and harder with the tax, with the bird tax. You're getting double tax. I need a same level playing field as other companies, in the same field. Like in terms of salary, I can't afford some salaries that the same businesses are offering in other counties because they don't have the double tax. So, you know, I urge City Council to vote yes today for the tax reduction and the bird tax. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next witness is Danny Bauder.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Daniel P. Bowder, and I'm the president of the Philadelphia Council, AFL-CIO. I want to say good afternoon to the council members present. As you know, our Philadelphia Council is comprised of more than 100 local unions, and we represent nearly 150,000 working people here in this city. It's thanks to this city council and our work together in collaboration that we've had a fair work week, prevailing wage protection, domestic workers' Bill of Rights, paid sick leave, wage theft protection, and the tower crane brake ordinance that exists in this great city. However, the mechanism to hold bad actors accountable is not properly functioning to its fullest, or frankly, it's overwhelmed. And the dangers to working people is immediate. And so, council members, I'm requesting that you fully fund Philadelphia's Labor Department so it ensures that the legislation, the fantastic worker protections that you have taken action on and passed can be fully enforced, and workers are protected, and the bad actors are held accountable. Since its formation in 2016, our city's labor department has been dedicated to building partnerships, crafting policies and practices, enforcing worker protection laws, responding to unfair labor practice charges, training development, among other roles. All of these responsibilities require the department to cover an incredible amount of ground and will require substantially more funding in the 2024 fiscal year in order to be successful. Specifically, council members, we're looking for $1.2 million for the Office of Worker Protections so that they may retain and add much-needed positions, reduce the current wait time that claimants have, and have the appropriate outreach program to make sure that working people know about these fantastic protections. We need $30,000 for case management software in the Office of Worker Protection and $350,000 for labor relations and employee relations for new staffing. This funding that you can appropriate will allow our labor department to become a fully functioning enforcement mechanism for workers and hold those bad actors I spoke of accountable. Judging from the performance, challenges, and initiatives supplied by the Labor Department, even with their limited staff, they have been able to make substantial difference in the daily lives of working people and have delivered close to or at their goals in early 2003. Specifically, thanks to this tower crane brake ordinance, all crane operators must be allowed to descend and take a 30-minute break after 4 hours of work. They have access to sanitary facilities, and they must be notified of these rights and how to file complaints if they're not being followed. Protecting prevailing wage in our city of brotherly love and sisterly affection is imperative and requires a fully trained staff that's fully equipped to cover the tens of thousands of work sites in the city. Thanks to our Fair Work Week ordinance, workers must have a predictable work schedule in 2 weeks in advance notice for service, retail, and hospitality workers. Working people in this city have a right to expect that legislative protections are realized and that they are enforced to the letter of the law and not remain just letters on a page. Council members, once again, I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you and share my testimony. As you know, I am always at your service, at your disposal. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony. I believe that is our last witness. Council support, can you confirm that there is no one else on the line waiting to testify?
Confirm, Bob.
Great, thank you very much. And to any members of the public who were not able to connect, our next public testimony is April 26th. Thank you, Councilman.
So we will recess until April 26th at 10 a.m.? April 19th?
No, Council, we're recessing till tomorrow, April 19th at 10 a.m.
That would be April 19th, all over the world. All right. Thank you all, and thank you for those who testified. And thank you, Mr. McDermott, for bringing them up. Thank you, technical staff. Thank you for members that are on the line. And this concludes our public testimony. Thank you.